Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including items from city departments and things happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight some items from the upcoming Tuesday, July 26th Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in City Manager Roloff, and thanks for being here today, Mark.
Great to be here, Andy.
Well, we have a lot of different topics to cover today, and I know that this is the season when, the roads are often under construction and everything, so we thought we'd get a little attention to what's going on around the city, and we have a lot going on. Algoma Boulevard is probably one of the most central city locations where there's a lot of work happening.
Yeah, outside of some specific residential areas, Algoma Boulevard represents probably the most disruptive for city residents, so because it's such a high traffic area. So Scott Williams from our Oshkosh media staff got some great video with our drone to show you even if you can't see it from the edge of the project, in the middle of the project there's a lot of activity going on, and we're putting in new storm sewer, new water and sewer, so a lot of excavation going on. We have to work around a lot of utilities actually that the university has. They have some steam pipes and everything we have to work around, so it is quite an undertaking over on Algoma Boulevard, but we appreciate the patience of the residents and the university community. They just had the welcome orientation week for the new students, and I'm sure that was quite a challenge, so we appreciate everybody's patience as we work through this.
Right. And there are different phases that are still happening with this. I know that there's pavement removal and excavation work continuing between Vine Avenue and Wisconsin Street, and there's also some underground utility work that's happening as well. Yeah,
especially near the Public Museum, sanitary sewer installation continues. So, that's something that has to get dug pretty deep so you can see how the excavation keeps working. Of course, you can check our website, and you can subscribe to updates so you can get regular updates for any of our projects. And obviously, Algoma is one that people want to know about a lot.
Right, exactly. And we'll keep an eye on it. We'll get out there as things progress and show folks the updates of what's happening over on Algoma. Besides Algoma, we also have some work happening over at Rosalia Street, over on the east side of the city. And there's some excavation work that's happening now.
Yeah, this is the beginning of this work, but as I've mentioned before, Rosalia has one of the largest water main lines in the city going through there. So while Rosalia is pretty much a quiet residential street, this is going to require a lot of excavation because this is a big water main and it has to get buried deep to serve the entire city. So a lot of disruption for this neighborhood, and we appreciate their patience as well. But you can see that we've got it going back to practically back to the house because the front yards are so small in some of our older areas. So this is even more disruptive than it is for, say, Algoma, that has a much wider street and a much larger front yard. So we're doing an awful lot of digging out there. And so, again, please be patient, and quicker we get started, the quicker we get done.
And that is a major utility that's going in there. That's serving the whole city, as you mentioned.
It is.
Or a lot of the city.
It goes from the water plant and really gets to the south side of town. That's the one that gets us over to the south side. So it's extremely important for our whole community.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, and then some more video that we have is from Lincoln Avenue, and that actually shows kind of maybe the finish side of it.
Yeah, we're just about finished. We've got some landscaping to do, but I know if you lived out on Lincoln, you thought it would never get done, but this is to show not only for the Lincoln folks, because they know it's almost done, but it's also telling the Algoma and Rosalia folks, it's the end is coming, the end is near, but we started Lincoln first, and you can see what the final product looks like. This creates such great curb appeal for our residential areas. And, this is an older area, admittedly, but look how nice it looks when it's all said and done. So we're really excited about getting that sense of accomplishment when we get a street done. And so Rosalia and Algoma, this finished product is coming to you soon. So just hang on a little bit. Please be patient.
Just hang in there. Well, also, talking about transportation, getting around town, we've had the Oregon-Jackson Street Bridge out of commission for a little while, and I know that there's been an update to that timeline.
Yeah, unfortunately. So you had to save the bad one for after we got all that good stuff out of the way. But, as we've mentioned before, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation owns the bridge, so we are really just relaying information they provided us. And unfortunately, we that initial inspection was done in May, and it was discovered there was excessive wear on the gear teeth that are used to raise and lower the south leaf span of the bridge. It's really the south side. But they've done some additional investigation. They really wanted to get to the heart of the matter, and they discovered some additional damage inside that failed gearbox. So they had to make yet another order, and now that has pushed back the expected finish until September 30th. So there'll only be 1 month left in the boating season by the time we're done, and so the bridge is going to remain up at least through the end of September. And I wish I could tell you it would get done sooner, but it's not. And I just hope that we can get it done now at the new time, so that there's at least 1 month left in the boating season that they can take advantage of this. So these are some examples of the gears that were worn, and really the teeth were just ripped up. So that is not safe to raise and lower the bridge. And it's really more about a reliability factor. We can't take the risk of having push it up and then it doesn't go back down, or we can never get it up in the first place. Those are challenges that we have to address. So the Department of Transportation, in cooperation with the Army Corps of Engineers, they are really the ones that kind of call the shots out here.
Okay, and really they need to repair that bridge because it's a number of years before that bridge might be replaced.
Yeah, it's probably 6 to 8 years that they've been talking about. So we're just getting ready, just hanging on a little longer, but unfortunately this happens, and it kind of shows the need to replace the bridge, but we were kind of hoping we weren't going to have this type of situation. We were just going to let it gracefully age, but it decided it wants to go kicking and screaming into retirement.
Okay, well, we'll keep everybody updated as we learn more from the DOT. Okay, also we have a primary election coming up on August 9th, and we just wanted to pass along some updates for folks about the timeline and absentee voting and things such as that. So there will be an opportunity for folks to do in-person absentee voting here at City Hall.
Yeah, early voting begins in the clerk's office on Tuesday, July 26th, and it runs through Friday, August 5th. General weekday hours, 8 to 4:30 p.m. So that's how in-person is working. We also have just regular absentee voting. That you can start requesting an absentee ballot right now, and be ready for that. So you certainly, photo ID is required for the in-person voting, and you have to follow all the rules associated with absentee voting. One of the most important things that has changed because of some recent rulings is that by state law, you cannot use our drop box at City Hall anymore to drop off your absentee ballot. They have to be hand delivered to the clerk's office or through the U.S. mail. So please be aware of that. Or you can also return it to the polling place on election day.
But by the voter.
But by the voter, yeah. It cannot be one of your loved ones or friends or anything like that. It's got to be returned by you. Though we don't create those rules are done at the state, and we have to track those rules so that we make sure that your vote counts. We don't want you to inadvertently exclude yourself from voting because you didn't follow one of these rules. So you can go to myvote.wi.gov to request an absentee ballot. We suggest if you do that and you get your ballot, turn it around, mail it as soon as possible, because the sooner you get it in, the sooner it'll count. And you have to have it returned to us no later than Election Day. That's why we do let people know you can drop it off you yourself can drop it off at your polling place on Election Day. But if you're doing an absentee ballot because you're absent, you want to make sure it gets there.
Sure, sure. And we wanted to remind folks also to make sure that that absentee ballot envelope is signed by a witness along with that witness's address, because they cannot accept the absentee ballot, if those items are not completed.
A lot of technicalities. When you go and vote in person, our folks are trained to know all those little things that you need to do for your vote to count. So when you get an absentee ballot, it's incumbent upon you to read those things so you know what your responsibilities or requirements are. So those are great tips, Andy, and I hope everybody realizes that we're following state law and we're doing everything we can to help your vote count.
So myvote.wi.gov, you can get more information there. And there's also a tool on there where you can track your absentee ballot and see where it is in the process and make sure that it's been received and so forth. So encourage people to take advantage of that. Okay, well, we have some interesting things happening over at the Oshkosh Public Museum. There's always something new happening over there. And they have some funding secured for their first Dia de los Muertos event.
Yeah, they've been awarded, the museum's been awarded some funding for this celebration, a grant from the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation and the Wisconsin Arts Board. So we're real excited. This is the first time we've gotten a grant like that, and I think the cultural significance of Dia de los Muertos is part of the reason that we got it, but we're certainly pleased and proud that our museum staff, led by our new director, Sarah Phillips, is looking for other creative things to keep interest in the museum, and that's what it's all about.
Sure. And so that event is coming up on October 29th, and we'll get more information as that date nears. But they plan on having some folk dancers, mariachi music, learning opportunities, different things. So it should be an interesting event.
It really is to help spotlight Hispanic culture and provide a greater awareness of a rapidly growing population in our region. So we're excited to be part of this. It's going to be great collaborations between our area Hispanic leaders and groups for this event. So it's not until October 29th, so we're kind of doing a save the date type of thing here, but it should be exciting and very timely in the fall season with Halloween. This is another edition, just a little fun type of thing.
Sure, absolutely. Also, speaking of collaborations, the Oshkosh Police Department has been busy conducting their team policing activities, and they've been out and about in the community quite a bit.
Well, yeah, I'm a little angry because they had ice cream and coffee, and I missed these events. I don't know where I was. I really fell down on the job, but several officers, including our Canine Magic, partnered with our fire department to participate in the Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin Robbins coffee and ice cream social. So adults received free hot or iced coffee, and the kids were given free books from the Reach a Child programs. Great participation. You see all the smiling faces, and our police and fire departments working together, and see those guys, they got ice cream cones, Andy. I'm jealous. So it was a great opportunity for the officers to talk to citizens and really have the citizens have an opportunity to see these are regular folks just like you and me, and they just have a job to keep the community safe, and they're happy to be out in the community talking to folks.
And they've also been out in the community over at Michigan Street and talking to folks over there. Yeah,
we want to have the Michigan Street pavilion and the pier there be something that families can enjoy. So our CCOV vehicle was deployed over to Michigan Street. Our officers conducted some team policing near the pavilion and fishing docks, and kids and parents stopped by to tour the CCOV, see what that was all about, and officers assisted with the neighbors who said, hey, let's clean up this immediate area, which is really neat. So, and then it gives them gives our citizens the opportunity to meet our officers on a more one-on-one personal basis. And we talk about know us before you need us. This is one of those events where people can just get to know each other and find similar interests and do a little good for the community by cleaning up in the immediate area.
Right. And Oshkosh Police Department, also one of their big events every year is the National Night Out, and that's coming up on Tuesday, August 2nd. And if you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, this is an annual community building event that promotes police and community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie. And I think we've really done a great job, and our neighborhood associations deserve so much credit. The neighborhoods host block parties, festivals, parades, cookouts, and so many other community events. They do some safety demonstrations, seminars, youth events, visits from our emergency personnel, as you can see, and just a whole bunch of exhibits. And it's really an opportunity for family to meet police officers and our officers and fire personnel to meet our community and just hear what's going on. National Night Out really helps enhance the relationship between neighbors and law enforcement, while at the same time building a sense of community.
Mm-hmm. Sure, that's right. And this will be happening at various locations around Oshkosh. And the Oshkosh Police Department Facebook page is probably the best place to get the most up-to-date information about where folks can go and partake in this.
And Officer Kate Mann, with her information there, you can contact her if you have any questions or want to maybe do a little more participation. We're always looking for partners for this event. It's a wonderful event. I really enjoy getting out and meeting the different neighborhood associations myself.
Sure, and mark your calendars. That is coming up on Tuesday, August 2nd in the evening. Okay, then also on the last show we talked a little bit about the Oshkosh Public Library, and they have some summer activities going on. One of those is their summer reading challenge, and we have an update to report on that.
We sure do. There's no more drum roll necessary because the goal was to reach 1 million reading minutes in the community, and 2 weeks ahead of the deadline we've already exceeded 1 million minutes read in the Oshkosh area. So congratulations to everybody for doing that. We are at the Oshkosh Museum are happy that people were willing to come to the library and maybe grab a book that they hadn't read in a while and wanted to enjoy it. And 1 million minutes of reading says a lot about our community's commitment to reading, to learning, and growth in the community. So beware, that million minute challenge is going to be jacked up next year. There's no way they're going to set that low a bar. So look out for that. But readers of all ages experience that sense of community by joining together to achieve this goal, and we're so happy about that.
And also they're encouraging folks to continue to log their reading minutes so that they can continue to build that up. And I know that when this wraps up, they plan on having some prizes and things for different age groups. So really it's not over yet, but encouraging people to continue their reading.
We're going to try to get that number as high as possible, and we'll celebrate it in August, and you'll see some fun stuff coming out after that.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I believe it's time to take a short break. Please stay with us, and we'll have some highlights from the upcoming council meeting agenda. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I think it goes around.
Let's go. We gotta get you in practice.
And it's set!
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming July 26th Oshkosh Common Council meeting. And on that meeting agenda, we have items under consent, and one of those is the Oshkosh Fire Department is working with Chippewa Valley Technical College. And I know that recruitment efforts continue, and it looks like this is an example of the fire department working toward that goal.
Well, of course, we've been working with Fox Valley Technical College for years on the testing process for our employees, but we know that finding good employees is so difficult these days. We need to extend our reach a little wider. So we reached out to Chippewa Valley Technical College based in Eau Claire, and they have some great students as well that go through programs, and we want the ability to give those students an opportunity to test and perhaps get hired by the Oshkosh Fire Department. So we've reached out, we've done that, we have an agreement, and we already did this last year, and it had some good success. And again, we're still looking for good people, and that's tougher to find these days. So Chippewa Valley is going to do some testing for us, and those students who meet the minimum score will get referred to us, and we'll start the recruitment and see if we can't get them to join us at some point in the future.
Well, that sounds really great. We'll keep the efforts going. And then also under the consent agenda, we have some contracts relating to East 9th Avenue reconstruction. And this is in that Sawdust District area.
It sure is. Now, if you haven't been out there recently, Pioneer Drive that came out onto South Main Street was closed up because we've put another extension of our Riverwalk there. So we still needed a way to get into the Pioneer Island area from the north side. We do have a south entrance, but we needed to have another entranceway there. So this is the rendering that we actually showed for that T-wall development that's going on, but you can see that 9th Avenue will kind of just jog to the north a little bit and then cross the railroad tracks and connect up with Pioneer Drive. So Pioneer Drive, the north-south portion of it is remaining largely the same, but this East 9th extension is really important. And in terms of marketing, as we see things developed over along the Pioneer Drive corridor, directions to Pioneer Island will be much simpler. It's basically take I-41 9th and head east, and when you're at the end, you're at Pioneer Island. So we really wanted to make it simple from a traveling standpoint, and this will also enhance the development for the Sawdust District, and we're excited about this and getting the project going that way.
Sure. And then also a related item follows on the agenda, and that is for some traffic control equipment. And my understanding is that we're buying this in advance to get ahead of some of these supply chain issues.
Right. We're just going to be awarding the contract on Tuesday. So the contractor is not going to purchase some equipment until they know that they're the person. So we've already taken the advanced step of getting this stuff ordered so that it gets to the contractor sooner. That helps us because, especially with supply chain issues going on right now, the sooner they can get that equipment, the sooner they can get the street done and everything going. So we've been doing this well in advance of having supply chain issues. We've done this because we know this is the smart thing to do to get our projects done more time efficiently.
Okay. And then also under the consent agenda, we have an item relating to maintenance of our sanitary sewer system. And this is to prevent inflow and infiltration that doesn't belong in the sanitary sewer.
Yeah, this has been an ongoing effort. And I've been doing this through my whole career in terms of inflow and infiltration. I is called for short. But here's some video of our sewers that we do to just inspect and see how it's going. But you can see through some of these videos that as we're going through to make sure how they're doing, we come upon water coming in. And that's not water coming in from a sewer, that's groundwater. You can see how clear it is, and that we don't need to treat clear water. And so this is causing a demand on our sewer system that could back up sewers because too much water in the sewer pipes will back things up. So inflow and infiltration has been a huge part of our program. And then meanwhile, another contract that's on the agenda is one to clean the sewers, or to not clean them and also videotape them. And this is part of what you see with these videos. We can identify either breaks or where clear water comes in, and then we can take action to correct those so that they don't happen again. So this is part of our program to keep our sewer systems all clear and as maintenance-free as possible.
It kind of helps us when we have those events with a lot of unexpected rainfall and that sort of thing too.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you see this one with the manhole here. Water's coming in from rain. We don't need rainwater in our sanitary sewer, so this helps us identify them. We fix the manholes, and we keep the system a little more drum tight.
Okay. All right, and then also we have an agenda item. It's an easement over at Lakeshore Park, And is this relating to that new Four Seasons building that the Parks Department is working on?
It sure is. This is just an easement so we can get the electrical service in and out, but this kind of gives you a little bird's eye view with our drone camera of the activity that's going on there. We're actually looking south from that angle, north, or looking to the northwest from this angle. Get an idea of what the activity is and what the final product will eventually look like. This is our footprint, and unfortunately, part of the Riverwalk isn't open there right now because it's closed to accommodate all this construction work, but very active in getting it done. We had hoped it was going to be done by November. As you can see, we've got a little ways to go. So we're not going to meet that November deadline for a variety of reasons, but we certainly are moving forward with it. And come next spring, you're going to see a wonderful outdoor pavilion that will be able to be used year-round.
And that video really illustrates the beautiful views that folks will have from that facility as well.
Oh yeah, so many different vantage points. It's, that I can't tell you when we're going to start taking reservations, but I predict there's going to be a huge demand for families that are going to want to use that. And the beauty of it is they'll be able to rent it year-round. And that's one thing that we know we're missing in our park system. So we're excited to do this.
Okay. Under new resolutions on the agenda, we have a proposed amendment of the hours for the Main Street area designated outdoor refreshment area, otherwise known as DORA.
Yeah, the council had approved some limited hours of 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. There was an original proposal for this district, as you can see here on the graphic, to start it at 10 a.m. on Saturdays to kind of coincide with the farmers market and some other special events that may happen through the season. The farmers market group has sent a letter to council asking them to reconsider the 10 a.m. start on Saturdays only. And some council members have brought it forward for reconsideration, so we'll put it on the agenda and see if the council wants to go. And I know there's varying arguments. Some people think we should keep it away from the family events. Other people are saying we're going to have some special events. It'd be great to have the DORA outdoor refreshment area extended in there. So the council will have to take up those various points of view and decide what they want to do. And I think it's valuable that no matter what side of the issue you may or may not be on, having these discussions in a civil manner is really what democracy is all about. And so I appreciate the fact that reconsideration is brought forth very politely, and that's something that we should all be proud of.
All right. And then toward the end of the agenda, under the city manager announcements and statements, there is recognition of a new neighborhood association.
Yes, well, it's the Green Acres Neighborhood Association. So before anybody cues up the theme song from the 60s sitcom, let's celebrate the fact that we've got another, almost a much newer area that is interested in engaging their fellow neighbors. And there was a recent issue in the neighborhood that they were concerned about. And as we talked to them, we suggested, well, maybe you want to keep these discussions with your neighbors to continue. And so this is a bit of an oddly shaped area, but part of that is because not all of that area is in the city. So this reflects a bulk of the area that is in the city. The neighbors were very interested in including themselves in this, and they'll be able to get together and talk about items of interest, things they can do to improve neighborhood communication, reduce crime, things like that. All different components to make the neighborhood more cohesive and active. And we're excited. And if you're interested in maybe forming your own neighborhood association to take advantage of our Great Neighborhoods program, just give us a call at 236-5126. One of our staff planners will be happy to help you set that all up.
And also, Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods is very much involved in that. And there are currently 21 neighborhood associations, so it's a great resource for the city. Okay, well, I think we're about out of time today, Mark, but we really thank you for being here, and thanks for your insights.
Always a pleasure, Andy.
All right, and thank you for joining us today. And again, that Common Council meeting is coming up this Tuesday, July 26th at City Hall, beginning at 6 p.m. And you can watch that live on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen to it on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. You can use your favorite streaming device, including Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. Just search for the Oshkosh Media app. And as always, you can visit our YouTube channel for government meeting archives and the full library of Oshkosh Media programming. So please join us again in 2 weeks for another City Manager's Report, and we thank you for tuning in.